Hey, this is Tristan at Hip Cooks in West Los Angeles, and it's that time of year to celebrate with your sweetheart. Valentine's Day is coming up, so what better way to make a romantic dinner with a good old-fashioned chicken pot pie? So I have all my ingredients out here, but the first thing I need to do is get my chicken breasts cooked. I have 2 chicken breasts here and a pot of hot water, and I'm just gonna do a simple poach for the chicken today in water. My water's hot. I'm just gonna slowly put these in. There we go. And turn the heat back on. So I want to bring the water to a boil. Once it's to a boil, turn down the heat so that it's just simmering ever so slightly. And I'll simmer that for about 10 minutes with the lid off. And after those 10 minutes, I'm going to turn off the heat and put the lid back on so that those chicken breasts cook. As far as poaching chicken breasts, I've just decided, as I said, to use plain water because this chicken's going to go into a flavorful chicken pot pie. Feel free though to use broth to poach your meat and also to put in any fresh herbs or even some white wine. So I'm gonna let this go for a little bit and check on it in a minute. Alrighty, so while the chicken over here is being poached, I'm gonna start working on the vegetable part of things. In this pot here, I have about a tablespoon of butter that's melting, and I'm gonna put in a half of a small onion that's chopped up. We're going to work on getting this nice and brown and add some salt to your chicken pot pie. I'd say about a teaspoon of salt. And have that on the side because we'll taste along the way and you might want to add more. Okay, put in a little pepper, about a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Over here, my chicken is still just slightly simmering, and it's almost ready to cover and take off the heat. And remember, none of these vegetables need to be completely cooked because all of this is going into the oven. So we don't want overcooked vegetables, so it's okay if you kind of undercook in the pot here. So about a tablespoon of flour. Have your milk on hand. We're going to put about a 1/2 cup of milk in, whole milk, and a 1/2 cup of chicken broth. And this is for a serving for 2 people. So turn that heat back up because we want that to start to boil and get thickened. This will be the thick sauce for our chicken pot pie. Okay, I'm gonna put this lid on and take it off the heat and let the poached chicken finish for about 10 minutes. And the last thing to put into here is I have some fresh rosemary. I'm just gonna leave it on the sprigs, put it into the milk so that that rosemary, or so that the milk is infused by the rosemary. That'll just be some nice added flavor. So my milk mixture is getting bubbly because it's boiling and it's getting thick, exactly as I want it. I don't want it to thicken too much, so take it off the heat once it's at a good consistency, which this is looking good. So I'm gonna take it off the heat. Give it a test and see if you think that there's enough salt in here and pepper. And I think there's plenty of salt, so that was about a teaspoon of salt and a little bit of pepper. And then the rosemary will do its job over some more time. Okay, so the carrots I'm gonna plunk in. That was 3 carrots, not 3 cups. 3 carrots just sliced because that's the shape I like them. And 2 stalks of celery. Mix this up and let that sit. So the peas we don't want to put in until the end. The chicken has been cooked, it's ready to go. So it was in the pot for about 10 minutes off heat and covered. So it's ready to cut up, go into the chicken pot pie vegetable portion. All right, we have our 2 little white chicken breasts. Just get those cut up. Cut them into bite-sized pieces. And if you want to shred them, that's fine. I'm just going to cut them. Alrighty, give that a mix. If your vegetable broth cream sauce has gotten too thick as you're waiting for the chicken to finish, you can always add a little more chicken broth or stock and milk to the sauce to give yourself more sauce. That's not a problem. And just make sure then you add maybe a little more flour and a little more salt to season. Make it tasty. Okay, so this is the dish I'm serving this in today. And before you put it into the pot, take out your rosemary, throw that away. It's already infused the milk. We have enough flavor in there. And the third one, okay. Alrighty, so last thing to go in is the peas, and I just put those in at the end because they get gray fast and they need as little cooking as possible. So just stir those in right at the end. All right, and this goes into, okay. So as you can see, I did not put a crust on the bottom. I'm just going to put a crust on the top. If you want to put a crust on the bottom, you can do that. Line the bottom, put it in the fridge so it gets really cold, and then put your filling in. You can also line the bottom with mashed sweet potatoes or mashed potatoes. That's another great way to create kind of a different type of crust. So there that sits. I have my pre-made crust. Why go to the trouble of making your own? I do recommend when you're buying the crust at the store to look for the kind that comes in this roll instead of already in the pie tin. Because when they're in the pie tin, then you have to take it out of the pie tin and put it across here, and that's a hassle. All right, so just unroll, plop it over the top. Have a little knife handy, and I'm going to hold this out and not cut directly on against the ramekin, but give myself, I don't know, a half of an inch. But I don't need all of this dough. Okay, so this is gonna go into the fridge for an hour. We want this crust to be nice and cool before it goes into the oven, and I will put on an egg wash when I pull it out. Okay, the chicken pot pie has been in the fridge for an hour, so I'm gonna take it out so we can get it cooked. All right, beautiful. So a quick egg wash, 1 egg. I like to put a little bit of milk in there. You can also put in water or just egg is good. That's about a tablespoon of milk. This will just make the crust a little shinier so it doesn't get dried out or look dried out after it's cooked. Brush the top. And make sure to get those edges. Okay. So 425 oven, and this will go in for about 35 minutes. The chicken pot pie is done. It was in the oven for about 30 minutes, nice and browned, and the steam was coming up through the pie. So think about it, Valentine's Day, chicken pot pie or chicken love pie? Enjoy your chicken love pie and enjoy your romantic day. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see me prepare any other recipes, please send an email to request@mahalo.com, and in the meantime, check out our other videos.